Dave, Aaron, Harry, good to see you.
Hello,
Hi.
GM.
GM, congratulations on the launch today. It's awesome.
A lot of stuff has happened from a lot of people, beyond just kind of the people on this screen. So, yeah, I think now is a celebratory moment for a lot of the team.
Yeah, very true. We talk about how, obviously this video covered all the innovation on the contract side, which I'm sure we'll dive into, but also, I mean, there's a complete rewrite of the back end of the actual physical website to make this all possible, which is a whole nother set of engineers that should probably at some point get a little spotlight as well. But a big, massive effort. Super excited to chat about it today. If you have questions for us, please jump into the Bird Lounge and leave them in there, and we'll be filtering them to the crew here. I guess the first question for you all is, when can people do this? When can people actually move their Moonbird on chain?
Already. So I just saw in the chat there were a couple of people already putting them in chain. We did do a little test a bit earlier today that someone spotted that two of the birds had gone in early. But yeah, so we're already there. My bird is already rocking its Proof Collective background. If you check it out on OpenSea, I think it's 8862, you'll see the background there. Like, all systems are live.
Fantastic. So just so people to recap on this, we're moving the Moonbirds fully in chain, but there's a couple of really unique things here that are worth mentioning. One, the output is a bitmap. So everything that I've seen, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but most of the other projects that are in chain are SVGs. We did it as a bitmap. That means that we have the ability to be a verified PFP on Twitter, which is a nice little bonus add-on. Is that correct?
For as long as Twitter is working, yes, that will be
That's
possible.
right. Which is awesome. So that'll be fun. I'm gonna see if we can get some questions to come in here on chat. I guess some of the other things I was curious about is, one of the things that may not be apparent, but let's talk about the custom background. So we're starting here with the Proof Collective, meaning if you hold a Proof Collective pass, you can get a custom background for your Moonbird. At first glance, one of the things that I was worried about initially is this might be confusing on OpenSea, because you don't want to screw with people's known scarcity or rarity of their different birds. But the really cool thing that you all did here is you enable it when it's nested. So when it's nested, you're preventing the sale of the Moonbird, right? So if it is unnested, the background gets punted and it returns to its original state. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Dave, do you want to talk about all the different ways your background can get removed? Because we thought of all the different edge cases and ways that this could be gamed.
Yeah, so you can only enable, as was already said, you can only enable it if you're a Proof Collective holder and if you're the owner of the Moonbird, of course. So if you sell your Moonbird, of course, then it gets automatically deactivated. Or if you move your Proof token to another wallet, it also gets automatically turned off. And I think that is about it. And there's, of course, the user choice and holder choice. So if they decide to turn it off again, then of course they can do it at any time.
This is a really new idea that I just absolutely love, where in the past I've seen a handful of projects that have said, okay, we're going to be a PFP project. You can remix things. You can change the hair and the backdrop and the jacket and all of that. And to me, that led to a lot of a bit of confusion, because if you're sitting there and you can constantly remix, like what is rare, what is not, it's just not as clean as it could possibly be. So this idea that you can lock up an asset, modify it in multiple ways, not just a background, but we won't get into other things today, but through the CC0 sends, it can be modified in a bunch of different ways, and then guarantee that when it goes back out for sale, it's represented and reassembled in its original whole scarcity and rarity levels, and everything remains intact the way it was kind of hatched, right? Which I think is just very, very cool. The possibilities here of what you can do is just fantastic, because you can work with other teams, other projects, other CC0s, and do modifications in a safe environment, which I'm excited to explore. We don't want to get into a lot of that today, but that's a very exciting possibility for what is to come with Moonbirds. Moonbirds are not going to be just a static forever collection. It's a dynamic collection that is dynamic in a safe way, which is very, very fun.
Yeah, and it's worth saying as well that the way that the backgrounds are being updated, it doesn't impact the metadata, which is then counted by open rarity or any of the different rarity rankings, because otherwise they'd all keep changing around. So even though it changes the image, it won't change any of those stats.
That's fantastic. Dave, I'm curious. I mean, this was a lot of engineering effort on your behalf. What was the hardest piece to pull off technically?
The hardest piece to pull off. So first, I mean, there were several things. First, it was finding a representation that is flexible enough to give me all the freedom to assemble or pack the data together in whatever way I want, and then retrieve it in our smart contracts to do whatever we want with it. So that was the first challenge, to find a suitable form to pack and ship data. And then the second challenge was to optimize so we have all the layers on chain, and then we need to blend them together to assemble them to form the final Moonbird. And making that as efficient as possible was quite challenging. So yeah, those two were the main things. So
and then how do you get these to, when we say that they're viewable on Etherscan, what does that mean exactly?
So that means, like any other NFT has this standard token URI function that gives you back the URL to wherever the asset is stored normally. And in our case, it doesn't give you back an URL, of course, but it gives you back the full image instead. So whenever you go to Etherscan, you can plug in your token ID into that function and get the raw data of your image back.
I should say, when you get the image back, you get what looks like a string of absolute nonsense until you copy and paste that into a browser, and then the browser knows what to do with it. So don't expect an image to pop up on OpenSea. OpenSea, on Etherscan.
It's important to note, though, it may look like a whole bunch of nonsense. That's only just because it's in binary. It's not because the browser's doing anything special, doing any further calculations. You could save it with a hex editor. Dave has done every single bit of the calculation within the smart contract itself.
A question coming in from the community now is, can you talk a little bit more about how you got the price down? Why was the price reduced to less than an ETH? And what will be different from collections using bigger media like videos? Meaning, could you take, you did mention videos in the actual video or the video that we presented today. Is it possible to actually do videos, or would that still be insanely expensive?
Probably still insanely expensive, and whether or not you should be doing it is also another question. These were constituent parts that allow us to then go and remix things and play around after the fact. Whereas a video, you're not really going to be building it and rendering it on chain.
I think when you want composability, it makes sense to have all those assets put on chain. If you don't, and it's just the end asset, it might not make as much sense. But I think with the pipeline that Dave's built, it will take any binary data, whatever it is, including videos, and it's going to make it as efficient as you're going to get. So it's, I think as close as you're going to get.
Yeah,
the next question. Oh, go ahead, Dave.
Pardon. Just wanted to add, so that the pipeline takes any binary data that you want, packs it together, and compresses it. And then on chain, you do the decompression, then you can do it again with the data, whatever you want. So for Moonbirds, we even got a bit beyond that and did a manual pre-processing of the data on top of that, where we reduced all the unnecessary data, shrunk images down, cropped them, manipulated it in some form to reduce data. And that is still in the responsibility of the developer to make sure that whatever they store is in its most compact form. But it's made simpler with the thing that we published today.
I'm curious on the contract level, when you're actually building these and assembling them and putting out that binary that creates a bitmap, what happens in the future? Is this modular enough to go in and say, okay, let's just say 5 years from now, we want to support ping or SVG or some new format. is there a way to extend it to just plug in a different rendering engine on the back end?
Absolutely. So all the data is really modular. They can be consumed by either us or whoever really wants to do something with it, and can build off on top of that whatever they want. So it's fully modular, it's fully flexible, and anybody can like build anything imaginable on top of that.
Here's a good one for Harry. I love this question. How do I explain the benefits of this accomplishment to my parents during our family Thanksgiving dinner?
Oh, I mean, we've only just convinced our family about what we do by saying that we sell art that doesn't exist for money that doesn't exist. So how do you extend that to this? I have no idea. Whoever asked me that, I thank you. And I will think about it and think of something much wittier than I would do on the fly.
I think that the way that I would probably frame this for my family would be that I collect digital art that is based on the blockchain, and this further takes my piece of art and cements it into the primary chain with no external dependencies. Not that they would know what that means. So that it is forever around as linked. It can't get deleted.
It can't ever get deleted. That's probably the quickest way of saying it. Your art can't get deleted.
Yeah.
It's not
I'll say,
even
Mom.
only-
Yeah, I was
not
going to say.
just that.
Go ahead, Aaron.
Sorry. It's not only that. It's not about the permanence. There are lots of ways you can get permanence. There's this direct connection between the technology and the artwork here, in that this isn't using the blockchain for the sake of it. It isn't using it as a storage mechanism that it shouldn't be. It's taking that virtual machine and having a reason for it to be there.
Expand on that a bit.
Understand that.
Yeah, my mum doesn't know what a virtual machine is.
This is a great stumper question. All right, so one other question here: will there be custom backgrounds besides the proof collective background? And multiple people. It looks like
Is the Barack Obama one?
Nice try.
We're going to do a four-season landscaping.
We've got ideas. I would say that the one thing that I can definitely say that we're trying to figure out is there is the world where, and I'm sure we've all been here, where you select a background on your phone, right? And you go in there and you choose a wallpaper, and there's like 100 of them or 500 of them, and yes, they're beautiful, but are they really special in any way? And so the thing that I think we should avoid is just a free-for-all. So if you see a Moonbird with a custom background, you know that something special has happened. And that to me is pretty exciting. And especially as it ties to other NFTs in your wallet and the composability of the CC0 world ecosystem. So that is when these mashups can be a lot of fun. So nothing to announce today on the custom background front, but know that this technology is set up specifically to embrace these types of things in the future. All right. Let's see here. Other questions. I think actually one thing I know, Harry, that we wanted to mention and to note is that, we're really excited for this release because in the past, we've had this overarching project code name High Rise that we've mentioned over and over again. We said that in our last Future Proof, more or less the High Rise name is going away, but it was really just going to represent what we set out to build in a series of releases over time. So this is an example of something that is one of those releases that sets the stage for a pretty comprehensive proof platform. Today, outside of just what you've seen in the video, we now have user accounts, we have slightly revamped profiles, and just a ton of miscellaneous improvements that you're going to see on the website itself. So as much smart contract and in-chain that we're talking about today, know that there is equal amounts of new, fresh stuff to check out when you go back to the website to commit your bird on chain. And this is kind of that first big push in that direction. So very, very excited for that.
Yeah, I was going to say, we've talked about in-chain, and that's just one small part of a huge raft of changes, all of which have gone out today. And I think we'll be giving it a little bit more love on Twitter and online over the coming days, just because we wanted to spread it out and make sure that each constituent part got the attention it deserved. But anyone who's already gone to put their bird in chain is going to see when you go to the site, you're going to have to create a new account. You're using a new service which we're calling proof of identity, which sort of underpins everything we do. We've talked about it before of you can connect up your wallets, but then you can also attach your Twitter, you can attach your Google, and then you can log in with them, which means that you can log in and access anything token gated, which we ever do. You're going to be able to get access to that on your phone with a single click without having to worry about connecting up your hardware wallets or anything else you don't want to do. And so there's been a huge amount of work going in building those foundations. And I think we're quite excited. It's been frustrating not being able to build in public as much as we normally like to not be able to release and show everyone what we've been working on. But so much work has gone in to kind of put those foundations in place that we're going to be moving into a different phase where kind of there's lots of cool new things which we've got coming up, and we're going to be able to getting them built and out and into your hands really quickly. So there's a lot of exciting stuff going on right now.
Yeah, that's a great point. One of the things that we chatted about early on was just, and we felt it in just looking at the raw numbers. As you know, most of you, thankfully, are well protected, and a lot of people have hardware wallets. Now, that said, there's a lot of things that you're going to want to be doing inside of the Proof platform that doesn't require the security of a hardware wallet. So to go and ask you to pull out and fire up your hardware wallet every single time you want to do something. Now, of course, transferring of NFTs, unnesting, like things that actually require real signatures from a wallet, you'll still be required for those things. But there's other lighter weight things like the claiming of simple rewards or a whole slew of things we can't mention today that are coming. But first, we had to set up these multiple identities and all tie them together. So now it's just going to be a lot easier for you to get in and out of the website in a pretty convenient and fast way, which is very, very exciting.
Yeah, one thing that Justin highlighted that we should probably point out, while people can kind of go in and explore these different new things at their leisure, one of the things that you're going to get to do is pick a username. And this will be your username throughout the Proof site. It's going to be the URL which goes to your collector profile. So if you want to get your name and stop someone else from picking your name just to wind you up, you might want to get on there and do that sooner rather than later. Fantastic.
Well, it looks like the good news is that people seem to get it. There's not a ton of questions here. Everything went off quite well. It seems everything that was working. Birds are being committed to chain, and this is awesome. So this is one step in a direction of composability and remixing that we're very excited to be doing in a very legitimate way with an insanely talented technical team here that has been able to pull this off in an efficient way. And then also, of course, big shout out to all the design efforts and everything from Mao editing the video. It's been fantastic. But expect these types of releases from us on a more frequent basis, along with more videos. We like to do these little videos showcasing what we're up to in a way that hopefully you can share out and spread around the love to other people. So, we've also launched, we should say, our Instagram account is now live. And I think TikTok is coming soon. We've got a bunch of Mao, our head of all things content, is working with a couple people now to create more assets and really, really double down. And also our announcement of our new head of business development hire, which went live. So there is just a ton of momentum going into this new year that we're just thrilled about. So very, very exciting times. And then we'll be at Art Basel. All of us will be there. So that's going to be awesome. You guys are all flying out, right? Everyone here on this call is going to be there. Pretty much the entire team is going to be there. So we will see you. Events.proof.xyz is the place to go to. Check it out. There's a bunch of different stuff that we're holding at Art Basel over in Florida and in Miami. And we'd love to see you at one of those events and hang out with us. And we'd love to take any and all feedback when we get a chance to hang out in person. But I guess that is it for now. All right. Anything else from you all? Are we good to go?
Good to go. Oh, actually, the one thing I'd say is there's the page of Builder Tools, which includes Solidify, which is the name we're giving to this pipeline that Dave's built. So any engineers who are watching who want to have a play around, have a look, dig through the code, let us know what you think. And we're excited to see what people do with it.
And where can people find that actually? Is that going to be linked on the website? Or?
Yeah, it's a link on the website. There's a builder tools navigation right along the top nav. And there's a couple of different things in there that we'll continue adding to.
All right. Fantastic. Thanks all. We will be back again on Friday. Is that right? We're doing Parliament on Friday? Maybe not. No, that's right. Because a lot of people are traveling to Miami. But we will see you again very soon.